Now, I'm not gonna beat around the bush for everybody. You guys can look at a title and read a thumbnail. And even I have debated for a while if I was gonna be making this video ever since the news broke on this, because as you guys know, with this situation, there's a very finite amount of time for getting these people alive. And the unfortunate reality is these guys went down on Sunday. It is currently Wednesday. By all estimates, they have about maybe a day left of breathable air, maybe a day and a half if they're trying to be as conservative as possible about it in the best estimates. But overall, they said, 100 hours or less. The best estimates I saw was 100 hours. I'm not even super confident in that. So you guys know what this is about, and I would like to give a quick, it's kind of morbid to give out a shout out in this situation, but shout out to Historic Travels, as if not for his series of videos on the matter, I would not have learned about this myself. Another reason I was debating not doing this was simply because this relates to fears I have on the open water, and I personally don't like making videos on things that personally make me just want to run away and panic myself, especially when people are actively involved in those situations, possibly being we'll talk about that in the video. I probably shouldn't have even mentioned the oxygen factor. That's probably already scaring enough of y'all, but disclaimer over. 2-minute long disclaimer. Guess there's nothing left to do but to hit the intro and get into the video. See yous all there.
What is going on? I am Johnny Von Duke, and you are watching Disney Channel. Why the fuck do I keep doing this intro?
And as you guys, if you got through that little disclaimer and you're still here with me for the 5 people who are gonna watch this, yeah, this is gonna be a pretty scary situation, because we're talking about the possible, well, not possible, it's definitely a wreck of some kind, but the wreck of the tourist submarine that was visiting the, ironically enough, wreck of the Titanic. This video will not be in my normal news rotation. I'm sorry, I know it's been a while since I've done a proper, lengthy news video, ever since I said I was going to do this new formatting, but, given the situation that this is, I just think it should be its own separate thing, and I don't want to group it in where I'm shitposting, going off, and capping, and all that. I unfortunately have it pulled up from my most hated enemies, the New York Post, but we'll live with it. I mostly just need it as an example piece, and we're gonna currently get into some terminologies here, because the Titanic wreck lies at a depth of around 3,800 meters. For everyone not in North America, and then 12,400 feet for everybody over here in North America. So yeah, it goes down basically 2 miles. Yeah, you're talking 2 miles down. Now, I believe, here we go. This is the vessel that is currently wrecked. Believably, either on the surface, bobbing around somewhere, or stuck underwater by the actual wreck. Nobody is sure if they're near the wreck or on the wreck right now. And this is the submersible vessel by OceanGate called the Titan. This is not a series of vessels by all accounts that I could find anyway. This varies. This is a one-of-a-kind vessel. Apparently there were types before it, different prototypes, different models, but this currently is the only one in existence from everything I can find. And keep in mind, we're talking about a private company here that doesn't exactly release tons of fucking info on every little tiny detail. And I'm not going to bring up the questionable aspects around the guy and all this, but well, we'll just leave it at that. The person who's made this vessel has some questionable traits about him. And as you can see here, it's a little bit hard to say, but this is where you are sealed in at. This is a completely sealed vessel. There is no hatch. You are basically deadbolted in. And yeah, around 5 to 6 people can fit in this, and around 1 or 2 crewmen, to my understanding. So 2 crewmen, 5 or 6 passengers, around 8 people in total can fit in this vessel, and it's not a very big one. Now, some of you guys are probably looking at this name and seeing that it's familiar. I don't like to say stuff like this, but it's a little bit ironic. You would name a vessel after a book that came before the Titanic wreck that, wow, was not exactly it. People have majorly overblown the aspects of the book. There are some notable similarities in the book: Futility, Wreck of the Titan, or just Futility, or just Wreck of the Titan. Yeah, the book is like 3 different titles, but most people just call it Futility, Wreck of the Titan, and it's the book that came before the Titanic wreck, all that. You guys have probably heard that stories 100 times over. It got released like, I forget how many years beforehand, but it had a lot of similar aspects to the wreck of the Titanic, so kind of ironic you would name a vessel after that. And if you didn't, well, I don't think I gotta say it. Now, before, the only vessel that could reach the depth of the Titanic, well, not before, I want to state some, one of the first vessels that could reach, to clarify, this is one of the first. If it's the first, I'm not sure. There are other submersibles that debatably could have reached that depths at the time Alvin was in existence, but this is what Robert Ballard used to get down to the wreck of the Titanic initially. And as you can see, far cry from what this thing is. This looks a lot safer compared to this, but I think I trust Alvin more compared to Titan. That name doesn't bode well. But as you guys can see, that's a tiny porthole. There's clearly at least a hatch up above. You're not sealed in this vessel. At least you can get out. But keep in mind, I don't think you're getting out very far with 2 miles of ocean water. And no, these guys aren't at the bottom, obviously. As you can tell, you can see the surface right above. And then to show you, like, even further, way back when they first found the Titanic wreck, they had to use Argo. Argo is a submersible camera, basically. Yes, that's basically a camera in a submersible crate right there. It's a very interesting piece of technology. And why I'm going over all this is simply because human beings aren't meant to be down there. Look at what we need to do to get down there. So I just did all this to outline basically how dodgy the situation is. Everybody who was on this had to sign waivers to go on this, so it's not like they didn't know what they were getting into. But it's a very scary proposition, potentially having people being on the wreck of the Titanic right now, trapped in another vessel. You know, I don't think the Titanic needs neighbors at the moment. And now, I probably should have showed this chart second, but this chart basically shows how far down certain things are and how far down other things can go. Keep in mind, there's lots of grains of salt in this. Here's Argo down there, basically, or a more advanced version of Argo, rather. And as you can tell, this is where we can usually go. This is where ships rest. Here's where wrecks are normally found at, most commonly. And then you have the wreck of the Titanic at 3,000 meters, 2 miles down. And then you have other submersibles and certain types of fish and crustaceans that can survive down past that. Then after that, you need to get the cameras. Then you need to get to a really, really robust devices to get down any further. So this is a scary chart. So yes, while there's hope we can get to them because we have vessels that can go down a whole hell of a lot further. Although I believe that's supposed to depict the wreck of a vessel. I'm not entirely sure because that looks old and rusted down there. I'm not sure what that vehicle is or what that submersible is. I'm actually curious on what that is. Actually, that could be the thing they used to get to the bottom of the Marianas Trench that one time. I'm not sure. I'll have to do more research on that. But And then, just to show you guys, these are operational submarines in the world. Usually when they refer to these are under government. These aren't private. You know, these are paid by taxpayer dollars. This is how far down certain subs can go. Really bad image, but it's the best one I could find for reference for how far country-oriented things can go. You know, when governments send their technology to do the job. Again, take this with a grain of salt. It's obvious there are other things missing from this, but I couldn't find the rest of the chart, but this helps put the picture in a little bit better. So there definitely are vehicles that can get down there, but the reality is a lot of the vehicles aren't, you know, really down there. They aren't by that area, which is really sad and scary because you gotta think about it like this. Back when the Titanic first hit the iceberg and wrecked, the closest rescue was 58 miles away. About that. Give or take a few miles. Closest help to these guys is all the way on the nearest shoreline, basically. You gotta think about it. While yes, there is the golden rule of the sea that all people have to help, well, not have to, it's highly encouraged, rather. In certain situations, you can actually face fines and penalties for not helping, but that's a completely different story. But essentially, there's this whole golden rule of the sea where you're supposed to help people of other vessels in peril. Reality is, not all vessels can go down there, and while yes, vessels can search the surface all they want, various ships, you know, reality is those poor lasses can only do so much because we have people possibly stuck at the bottom, near the wreck, or on the wreck. It's a very unfortunate thing, and I really am just not sure what I can say about this other than just lay out the facts and details and outline this. I get this is a more professional-oriented video compared to what I normally do with these news things. I get it. It's not unusual for us to get serious on the channel, but here, it says it right there. 370 miles off the coast of Newfoundland, Canada. That's scary. You're 370 miles from the nearest help. Now, the worst part is, and I lost it in this article, but these guys are planning on doing more dives down with different vehicles, apparently. I don't know. Apparently, they have other submersibles that can get down there that aren't the Titan. And I don't trust the front of that thing. That's a very poor quality image. I don't know what this video is about. We'll give it a quick look. Oh, it's just facts about it. On Monday. Yeah, that's why I said they went down on Monday. 5 crew. Okay, so there were only 5 people down there. Wait, so only 5 crew members. Challenge the team of legendary. Due to the worst winter in Newfoundland in 40 years, this mission is likely to be the first and only manned mission to the Titanic in 2020. Man, so they even knew this could possibly go bad. Attempt. Notice how they say attempt. That's not for sure. 1985. Yikes. Keep in mind, it went down in 1912. It took us until, like the video said, 1985 to find it. Not a bad thing by the New York Post, as much as I hate to say it. Now, I know you guys can see it, but we're going to pull that up in a new tab real quick and show you guys it blowing up. I'll pull my Von fucking face out of the frame. And yeah, this is the device that controls it. I don't trust that. If my life is being controlled by this, I don't trust it. Not in the slightest. And that's like a Logitech controller too. A third-party controller is what controls this. You couldn't even go first party, man. You couldn't even go first party. Okay, we gotta stop before we get into shit posting mode, but Jesus Christ. Yeah, and keep it. Oh my God. Ah, so what I was seeing was wrong. Okay, so a little addendum here. I hate saying this, like, as I'm recording, but we might as well admit to it now. Okay, so what I was seeing from some interviews was wrong. This section, now I knew a little bit of it was used for oxygen tanks, obviously, but I thought it went, like, to here. So no, this whole section is sealed off. Okay. I don't know why people were reporting up to 2 crew members could fit in there. Okay, so overall, 4 passengers, 1 person, possibly 5. Okay, that makes a lot more sense. Jesus fuck. It's only 9.2 feet tall. Oh my lord. 22 feet wide. That's not the worst. You see, I'm just worried about if they're actually stuck on the wreck, though. That's my major concern. Being stuck on that wreck would be horrible. And that's a problem. They're like, here we go. This is where I was seeing it. So these guys are saying 96 hours. I've seen reports of up to 180. I need to clarify. 100 hours. Space. And then I've seen some people saying 83 hours, 80 hours. It's really a complex thing. And here we go. This is probably the biggest debate out of all of this. And it's the fact that several companies take tours of the Titanic. And that's been a high point of debate. To me, it's more so, I don't know, man. Yes, I see the graveyard side. I also see the history side. I see people saying, who cares? It's been so long. I get all ends of the argument. I don't have 2 cents in either way. I just think, it happened in the past. There's nothing we can do about it, but keep making ships safer, That's just how I look at it. It's really shameful overall what happened, especially considering Titan strikes twice. Or rather 3 times if you're taking futility into account. Which is actually funny because they were originally going to name the Titanic the Titan, if one story is to be believed. It's just scary, man, because 1,500 people have already died on this wreck site. We don't need 5 more people to die, I thoroughly believe. A lot of people are, man, the lass is not in good shape. You can't even read out her, man, that's sad, actually. Let me blow this up a little more. You can't even read her fucking name anymore. That's sad. And that's a high definition photo, too. That's a really good image. Or a really good render. I'm not sure which one it's meant to be. Either way, good quality image right there. But yeah, guys, I really don't know what to tell you here. This is just a sad situation. I hope these guys do better. I hope they're found. I don't know what to say. Like, I hope they're found and I hope they do better and all that. But realistically at this, it's highly debatable if they're going to be found. It's not even highly debatable. A lot of people are convinced they won't be found. And that's just the cold reality and truth of the matter. I don't like making videos like this, but the cold reality is, ironically enough, while talking about the Atlantic Ocean, is stuff like this does happen. People go missing in the ocean. People get lost. And the sad reality is, this is not the first maritime disaster in history. This won't be the last one. Not even close. So long as humans are by water and we have abilities to cross the water, you will always hear about disasters on the ocean, and that's just the truth. It doesn't matter if we're talking about the Eastland, the Columbia, the Titanic, the Britannic, the Lusitania. Doesn't matter if we're talking about, what's another ship that sank? Okay, well, this one won't make as much sense, but I need to think of shipwrecks right now. Warships in general while they're shooting at each other, submarines when they go too far down, like in this case, basically. Things on the sea happen, and there are numerous other examples. Like, think of the Edmund Fitzgerald or the Carl D. Bradley, for example. There are just so many examples of, what was it? The Terror, I believe it was called, part of the Franklin expedition. That's another example of things going wrong on the water. And there are tons more that just don't come to mind right now that I've definitely heard of in the past, but I just can't think of. Yeah. Andre Doria, that's another one. I believe it was called the Bella Rose or something like that. That's another vessel. I know I'm just naming shipwrecks, but I just want to beat it into everyone's head right now that this will happen and continue to happen. It's happened since the age of sail. It's happened since humans were using nothing but rowboats. We are animals not meant to be out on the water. But reality is we also have the desire to be mariners, we have the desire to be fishermen, we have the desire to be sailors, we have the desire to be explorers. And often that can lead to us exploring things that many people debate should not be explored, such as the Titanic. And that's the truth, and I really don't know how else to split it. Human beings are really just complex creatures at the end of it all. We do things we shouldn't, and we know we shouldn't do. We do things we know are dangerous to our health, such as going down to the Titanic wreck when we shouldn't. Possibly shouldn't anyway. And you know how that can go. At the end of the day, everyone, I just want you guys to be safe, make good choices, and if you're gonna go on grand adventures, please be prepared, please know all the dangers beforehand. And please, don't forget to take it away, other me! Woo!
Yeah, I hoped you all enjoyed the video. It's pretty much a nothing burger, but if you've been watching my channel for all 8 years that's existed, you should know that's kind of what we do here. Anyway, if you somehow found yourself enjoying it, click over here to watch another video, click over here to watch another degenerate video, click here to subscribe to my channel, then click down there for, well, whatever lazy lack of originality content I put there. Anyway, get the fuck out of here, you filthy animal. Goodbye.